Hello, my name is David Ades, and I'm a certified professional life coach. Yes, just like everyone, and their mom. Yet, I specialize in the recovery from narcissistic abuse. That makes me just like everyone, and their mom, and their cousin, and their uncle, and their sister, and their dog. Everyone and the family pet hopping on the bandwagon of narcissism content creation. This video is going to help explain, among other things, why this side of the internet, narcissism content, is so saturated, it's so flooding, it's so festering. This video is about the ubiquitous experience of confusion that occurs through one's dealings with a narcissist. Anyone who flies within distance of the radio frequencies that are emitted from the narcissist's distorted mind. Anyone who gets within intimate relating distance to a narcissist is going to find themselves left with some degree of confusion, some degree of head-scratching, page-turning, research scrolling, I see you, shoulder-shrugging, hand-throwing up. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to feel. I don't know where to go from here. What the heck is a narcissist? What the heck happened to me? And the most important question, whether you've asked this or not yet, you'll be asking it today, where am I? Because putting together the pieces on the idea that it might be a narcissist you've been dealing with, putting together the pieces on the idea that, therefore, it might be narcissistic abuse that's been coming your way, putting together those pieces is akin to rubbing the crust from your eyes and realizing that you're not in Kansas anymore. You thought that you had been relating with another human being, trying to get close to them, but putting these pieces together and waking up is like finding yourself in a labyrinth. You didn't know this, but the further you walked towards the narcissist, the further into a deep, foggy forest you led yourself. Now you're putting the pieces together, waking up, rubbing the crust from your eyes, and you're saying, where am I? Welcome to the narcissist's shared fantasy. Shout out to the psychologist Sam Vaknin, who I believe first coined this term. Welcome to the shared fantasy. This is where the narcissist abides. This is where the narcissist lives. This is the narcissist's natural habitat. This is who you were getting close to. You thought that if you moved further towards the narcissist, no matter how the twists and turns went, maybe if you went further, you'd finally find them. But it turns out that no matter how many turns you took in their maze, you don't find them. Because it's not like they're in the maze waiting for you, that's kind of the illusion. It's that they're a spirit of the maze. They, are the maze, or they're some weird victim of the maze. They're like someone who died in the maze and now they're the spirit of it. It's like there's a cottage on the edge of the woods, and there's a kid in the cottage who thinks he hears something calling to him from the woods. He thinks he sees something moving in the woods, and he knows he shouldn't go into the woods, but of course he does. And he chases something that looks real to him, only to find at some point that thing disappears, it reveals itself to not be real at all, it was some weird illusion, and the kid's in the middle of a dark forest. Where do I go from here is the point of this video. This is all a metaphor for the narcissist's shared fantasy, which is the psychic environment. Psychic meaning of the psyche. This is the narcissist's thing. It's their being that they get you into just by being with you. Whether they manipulated you in, or whether you said, I never give up on a relationship, so I'm going to keep moving forward, even though this is feels troublesome and weird and, too difficult, this relationship. I'm not going to abandon this person, or I'm going to prove I'm good enough. There are many reasons, many manipulative tactics, many limiting beliefs that lead one into this relationship to begin with. There are so many personal, nuanced reasons that one ends up in this shared fantasy space. You wake up to find that you're in a mental environment that is not home to you. It's not home to anybody, including the narcissist. Now you've got to retrace the steps that brought you here to begin with. That's what this video is about, and that's why this video is about confusion. Because whether you knew it or not, every step you took closer into the narcissistic relationship, into the narcissist's shared fantasy, every step you took was you abandoning your feeling self. Confusion being a feeling. The narcissist inspires unease. The narcissist is very confusing. The narcissist is humiliating. The narcissist is some sort of hostile phenomenon that in order to walk closer to them, you have to abandon yourself. There's no getting along with this person and being the true version of you. So the shared fantasy space is this psychic environment, this theater, that offers environmental pressures on you to adapt, to be less of yourself, leave your true self at the door of the labyrinth, leave your true self at the entrance of the woods, come into this fantasy world where now you will be pressured to put on a costume of someone that you're not. And the way that you put on the costume is abandoning deeper parts of yourself, deeper brain activity. You abandon the experience of what it means to be you. You abandon the feelings of you. And the narcissist is coaxing you all the while. The narcissist is embedding pain in the deeper experience of you, so you have no choice, to some extent, to abandon it, and move further into just a thinking being that doesn't really exist in a deeper way, but is able to jump through mental hoops to try to be what the narcissist wants you to be. The narcissist tries to make deeper versions of you, your experiencing self, your feeling self, make those painful. Make what is you painful. So you have no choice but to abandon deeper levels of you, exist only on the surface as this ethereal thinking being that then, by the time that happens, the narcissist kind of has you in his or her hands. Now, you have a debt to pay with yourself, to yourself, upon waking up to this state of affairs. All of the steps that you took, abandoning deeper aspects of yourself, you're now going to need to retrace your steps and pick up those pieces of yourself that you left in order to get here. What I'm slowly moving towards is the insight that you're not going to think your way out of being a thinking being. I've painted the picture that the narcissist pulls you into the shared fantasy, or you get, whatever. You end up in the shared fantasy environment where it's like you're nothing left, there's nothing left of you but kind of this thinking thing. That's what led you here. You, whether you know it or not, becoming a thinking thing in denial of a feeling thing and experiencing thing. So you're not going to be a thinking thing out of the way that you became a thinking thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's this Einstein quote that says, "The level of thought that a problem is created on cannot solve the problem. Things have to reach higher or go deeper." The way into a shared fantasy is abandonment of deeper selves in favor of thinking self. You're not going to think self your way back into deeper parts of yourself. The debt that you owe yourself is not one of thinking, it's one of feeling. All of the things that you refused to feel or ignored or dismissed or abandoned on the way here, whether you chose it or not, all of those things now need to catch up with you. Beginning maybe with the confusion, which is a very authentic, understandable, natural feeling of realizing that you're in this shared fantasy space, right? Whatever the hell that means. You've entered this environment that isn't a home to you, and now you've got to clean house, so to speak. You should feel confusion. You should feel humiliation. You should feel like you don't know where to go. You should feel all kinds of things. Who is to tell you what you should or shouldn't feel upon realizing that you've been in the midst of someone with a profound mental illness? Narcissism is such an unstable personality. You know what you're going to feel upon realizing that you've been relating closely with someone like this? You're going to feel all kinds of things. And that's what you need to do, because that's the debt that you owe yourself. Because in a different timeline, you were closer to your feelings, you were closer to your experiences, such that you would have said, no, I'm not going to take a step further into this labyrinthian world. I'm not going to take a step further into this dark forest because I feel something is telling me that this isn't so right. I'm going to head out. It's exactly the fact that that didn't happen that led you here. Now you've got a debt to pay for all those times where you didn't listen or you didn't even have access to those feelings. It's time to get in touch. That's what this is about. I really want to emphasize the point that don't be too quick to judge whatever feelings you experience as a result of this experience. Don't be too quick to try to get rid of what you feel in regards to this experience. Be mindful of others who try to help you get rid of the way that you're feeling about this. Whether that's everyone and their mom on the internet who is capitalizing on how confusing this is. To tie the loop of the way that I introduced this video, everyone and their mom is making all this narcissism content to capitalize on how confusing this experience is. I might say there's a positive correlation between how confusing it is and how festering this side of the internet is. And you have to be mindful that you don't let anybody take away your feelings about this, because that's the compass you're trying to get back to walk your way back out of the shared fantasy. You need to pick yourself back up, the parts of yourself that were dropped on the way here. Which means you have to feel, which means you have to experience yourself on a deeper level, which means it can't stay all on the level of thought, which means you have to be mindful of, are you playing this all like a thinking game, and you don't like feeling, and you don't like opening up about this, and you don't like being vulnerable about it, which is exactly what may have led you here, and exactly what might keep you here. You even need to be careful of meeting with people like myself who will try to say, oh, you're confused, like, how can I help them be not confused anymore? There's a healthy portion of that, and there's like a pathological playing into the shared fantasy version of that. If I meet with people and I'm just like, you can do it, it's a thinking game and you can think your way out of it and you're not a victim and they're not that bad and don't worry so much and don't feel shame, that's a bad emotion, and don't feel guilty. And it's like, but the feelings are what I have to do. I owe a debt to myself. I don't want to pay this debt, but I am left with it. And sorry, Mr. Coach, sorry, Mr. Therapist, you're not going to help me by trying to convince me that my confusion is bad, by trying to take the sometimes well-meaning route of, oh, how can I help them not feel shame anymore? No, don't feel that way. No, don't cry. It's exactly the opposite. No, feel the way that you feel. Feel that. And cry, like especially crying is the thing that heals. Especially bridging the gap between yourself is done through lamenting, and the tear, like crying is actually called lacrimation. It's through grieving that the bridge between you and yourself is resolved. I hope I made this kind of final point clear. I'm going to try to use an example of going to speak with someone like myself, and the person on my side of things, their well-intentions are actually kind of ill-placed. Imagine I need to go talk with somebody because I was narcissistically abused, and what that means is I'm under the pressure of a shared fantasy whose pressures tell me that I'm not good enough, and I have to make myself into somebody that I'm not. What if I'm not aware that all of this is occurring, the person I'm dealing with is a narcissist, and that I'm under the influence of a shared fantasy? What if I don't know? So that I mistakenly identify myself with the role in the shared fantasy that the narcissist is trying to get me to play. So instead of saying, I don't know why I'm feeling like this, I never felt like I wasn't good enough before, but with this person I do, maybe something's going on. Instead, I go to a therapist, I go to a coach, and I say, I feel like I'm not good enough. I hope you see where this is headed. That's who the narcissist is trying to get me to be. Someone who feels like I'm never good enough. Someone who feels like I'm perpetually failing to prove myself. That's the role the narcissist is trying to turn me into within the shared fantasy. If I identify with it mistakenly, and I go speak to someone, and then I tell them, I feel like I'm never good enough, and then in their best intentions they say, no, you're good enough. What they're telling me is try harder within the shared fantasy. Earn that role of the shared fantasy. Earn that role to be good enough for the narcissist. Because maybe the therapist or the coach isn't well-versed in narcissism, or they can't tell that someone is speaking about themselves as if they're out of touch with themselves. I really hope I made that point clear. That's a rather nuanced psychological insight that's a bit difficult to communicate. In any case, I hope this video was valuable for you. If you want to get my help personally, click the first link in the description to schedule a call with me. You can click the second link in the description to take a free narcissistic abuse recovery quiz. Like this video if you do like it, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will talk to you soon.